The art of pipe smoking is not stagnant, and though it's an old hobby, there are ways to improve, and that's everything from how to make a pipe to producing and blending the tobacco, but also how we care for the pipe itself. One of my most watched videos is how to clean your pipe, and by and large, a lot of it is still the same practice that I use today. But not long ago, I had an interview with pipe maker Jay Mouton, one of the great American pipe smokers today. Unfortunately, it's not a highly watched video, and that's a shame because he had a lot of great nuggets to leave us. But I did change some of my methods in cleaning a pipe that I want to go over today and show you. That's everything from a more quicker clean, you just got done smoking a pipe, to a deeper cleaning after you've had several bowls and you're about to put it away. There's a bit of a distinction. We'll go over those. Now, before talking about how to clean a pipe, we need to have things to, well, clean a pipe. So I want to go through what I usually use for cleaning my pipes. And first off, everyone has some sort of carrying case or caddy, what have you, to hold their tools for cleaning their pipe. I use this very luxurious, fancy kitchen cloth. So I put everything in here and then I wad it up and I put it away in a drawer. So this is what I have. First off, and we should always have these on hand, is pipe cleaners. And there's a variety. This is predominantly just what I use. They have some bristled ones I don't have on hand. That can be very helpful, and I would go ahead and recommend you having a pack of those on hand. The only time I would use those is for, let's say, a deeper cleaning of the pipe. We'll jump into that. But pipe cleaners, nonetheless, have some on hand. Then I will have some no-ox stem oil. So your stem, and it's always not needed. If your stem is acrylic, meaning a plastic, it's not such a necessity. But if you have like vulcanite, ebonite, those things can oxidize, meaning the material starts to turn white and there's a residue left on them. You would want to get those cleaned up. So having something like a no-ox stem oil is very nice to have on hand. The other thing I always have on hand is some no-buff wax, and this just keeps the outside looking nice and clean. Does it affect the quality of your smoke? Not necessarily, but we like to have nice looking pipes, I would argue. And it's nice to have some on hand. A little goes a long way. I have had this here for a long time. So we have that. I always have a check tool on hand, as you can see here. And I always have one that I don't regularly use for smoking my pipe. Always want to have one with my cleaning tools. They're inexpensive and they help just clean out extra dottle. I'll go over that here in a moment. So have one on hand as well. And then finally, some of your pipes are going to have some type of metal fixture. It could be silver, it could be brass, some other type of metallic ring, like my Peterson Irish Sharp 69 here, which is one of my favorite pipes. So I always have a silver cloth or jewelry cleaning cloth on hand. I'll also touch on that after a while. So let's say I just finished smoking this pipe. I smoked it once. All right, and I'm gonna just be putting it off to the side for a while, which is usually what I do. I smoked it. There's tobacco that's gone out of this pipe. So what I'm gonna do is have something else you need to have on hand is something to clean your pipe in, as far as get rid of the nastiness, the residue of tobacco and moisture and everything like that. The dottle, you usually call it. And I just use a tin. That's all I have. I open the tin up. I usually have this also wrapped up in my cleaning supplies. So I will carefully separate the stem from the shank, twisting it as such like this. All right, softly, usually want to do, try to not damage anything. And the first thing I do is I will clean out both the shank and the stem. So I will run a pipe cleaner all the way through to the very end of the stem, all the way to where you can see the tip of it in the bowl as you're looking inside it here. It's probably hard to come up on camera, but if you looked inside, you would start seeing the tip of it, and that's as far as I will run it. I don't want to go any farther, and I will run it and pull it forth. And notice I didn't use any type of liquid cleaning, anything like that, and I will keep doing that until it is fairly clean on my pipe cleaner. Now, once that is done, and it usually doesn't take too long, I'm not too worried about it, because here in this situation, I'd probably smoke this pipe here momentarily. So I'm just trying to get out the lingering residue of moisture and dottle, those things, so the next time I smoke it, it's a better experience. After that, I'll go on to the stem of the pipe. And very similarly, I'll grab a pipe cleaner and I will run it through as such, all the way through. And then I might use multiple ones to just get it as clean as needed, to get the dottle out, to get the moisture out. Again, it can affect your flavor next time. And then usually around the tenon here, you will have a buildup also of material, of residue, dottle, things like that. And I will go ahead and I'll have another pipe cleaner available, and I'll just kind of clean it up as such around it. You could even bend, if you don't want to waste pipe cleaners, which I usually try not to, you can use the parts that usually stay clean and do the same, and just trying to get it cleaned out. And that is all I usually do for a quick cleaning. I just got done smoking the pipe. I clean the shank, I clean the stem, and that's about it. I put it off to the side, and I'll probably come back to it eventually. That is for a quick cleaning. Now, that's done. Let's say I enjoyed this pipe 2, 3 times, 4 times, whatever the case may be. I'm not going to get into how often because it's somewhat subjective. But let's say I'm done. I'm going to be putting this guy back up on a stand or putting it away regardless. I won't be coming back to it for a while. There's a bit more I want to do. Avoid moisture settling into this pipe, to avoid it having a smell. And this is why I'm so adamant about cleaning my pipes. People say it's a waste of time. People back in the day didn't do it. Maybe, but I know that if you don't clean your pipe well, they will smell, and they'll smell up your room. I don't want my room to smell up, my office. I have people come in and out, so I don't want that to be the case. What do? I'm done with this pipe. Again, I try to easily remove the stem and shank from one another, and then I will take a pipe cleaner, and first thing I'm going to do is clean the bowl. Now what I do is I softly make a U shape here, all right, not a V. Try to make it soft, and I'll put it down into the bowl. And then I'll have the edges hit, the pipe cleaner hit the edges of the bowl, and then I'll twist. And then I'll even dump it here. Actually, you even see some material that's left over that fell out. And what I'm trying to do is clean out the loose tobacco, the dottle that's just kind of stuck in there, ash, everything else, and get it off the bowl. You're not affecting the cake, the carbon cake of the bowl, which we do like. That is hardened. You're not going to take it off with a pipe cleaner. That's all I'm doing there. All right. And so once that's cleaned out, then I'll move on in the process. And it's basically the same as the regular daily cleaning, where we'll take a pipe cleaner and we will clean the shank. And usually all it takes is doing the same thing, running it back and forth, all the way up to the edge of the bowl and cleaning it out. Now, I used to use pipe cleaning solution or an alcohol, a grain alcohol, with the suggestion of Jay Mouton. I don't so much anymore. He views it as greatly unneeded. Could there be cases where you need it? Maybe. So every once in a while, I will pull out some grain alcohol. This is cheap bourbon I have here. Don't ignore isopropyl alcohol. That's not what's in here. Long ago I did it. I don't anymore. I think grain alcohol is superior and a better cleaning agent, but we want to be very careful with it. So let's say I do use this, which again, very seldom now. I will tip the very tip of the pipe cleaner into the solution, just the very tip of it, and then I will run it into the shank all the way to the edge of the bowl, and that's it. Be very careful. Do not get it on the outside of your pipe. It will take away the varnish. It will take away the seal. And it's a very similar process with the stem. Take a pipe cleaner, run it through. As I showed before, you can even, again, you clean out the tenon, the very end of the stem to make sure it's nice and neat. And if you need a solution, a whiskey, what have you, you can use it then as well. But again, rarely does that needed. A pipe cleaner will be sufficient, and this is where a bristled pipe cleaner would be very helpful as well. Just doing it one through with the bristle to take out anything you feel is stuck in there. That's why cleaning solution is often just not needed. So let's say that's done. You've done it multiple times. Your pipe cleaners are coming out pretty clean. We can put it back together. And now we can clean the outside of the stem. You can have an additional cloth on hand just to wipe it clean, a bit of soap and water, something like that, just to clean it off there. and have it, just remove your own saliva and residue left from your mouth to have it nice and neat. The other thing I will do is have an additional cloth on hand like this, old rag, it's actually an old shirt, and I want to clean the top of the bowl. All right, when we light our pipes, even we try not to, we can leave residue from the flame, burning residues on top, and I want to be sure those are as cleaned up as possible. So what we can do is dip our cloth either in a light water or saliva, and that's often what I do because it's always on hand, and I'll dip it and clean the bowl to keep it nice and neat. That's all I do with the bowl. So that's done. I've cleaned the inside of the bowl. I clean the inside, or rather clean the inside of the bowl. I clean the shank and the stem. And then we go on to the extra portion of just keeping our pipes looking nice. So this is where the handcrafted pipe polish comes in, a pipe shield. It's a no buff wax. There's a lot of products out there that you can use that do this. And I just very lightly get some of that wax on a small cloth, as you see here. It does not take much. And then I will polish it. I just rub it around, give it a nice shine, a nice protection, and that's about all I do there. It doesn't really take a lot. We don't need any machinery to do such a job. Unless we were restoring a pipe, maybe you would need something further, but that's usually all we need, us regular pipe smokers. Now, I mentioned some pipes have a metallic fixture, a band, such as you see here on this Irish Harp 69. Sometimes it's silver, it's brass, what have you. And this one's already starting to discolor, so that's where I have a jewelry cloth cleaner on hand. So I will pull it out. This one's a fairly large one, but I will pull one out, and you can get this just about anywhere. And I will rub it down, have it nice and neat yet again. And it makes a big difference. I don't know if that's coming up on the video, but it makes a world of difference in keeping it nice looking and cleaned up. So there we are. Now, again, this is an acrylic pipe piece or a stem, it doesn't need any type of stem oil. If we had a vulcanite and ebonite, which you sometimes find, they're less common nowadays. But if you do have one, you can use some of the stem oil here, no oxidation stem oil. You can get a cloth, just put a little dab on it and rub it down as well to keep it nice and avoid as much as possible the oxidation of our stems. But again, not needed here. This is acrylic, not a necessity. So guys, there you are. Very simple. I do think it's necessary, contrary to folks who say, well, back in the day they didn't do that. Yeah, but they didn't have concerns like we do, and we have the blessing of knowledge of that there is a change, that there is an improvement to our smoking experience if we do clean our pipes. It doesn't have to be an extensive thing, but it is a way we steward our pipes, we take care of them. It brings out a better enjoyment of our pipes and the further flavors we like to find in our pipes. If you smoke one long enough without cleaning it, you will know it changes your flavor. I don't know how else to say it, but that does happen. So take the time, clean your pipes, doesn't take long, and you'll enjoy the outcome. That's all I have. If you have questions, leave them below in the comments. I'm happy to answer them as best as I can. That's all I have. Hope you're well, you're blessed, and we'll talk to you very soon.